What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fly School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I went ahead and refunded my copy of Callisto Protocol, not because I hate the game. I think the game is a decent game. If you ask me to score it, I'll give it like a 3.5 out of 5, which is actually pretty good, almost a 4 out of 5. If I went on a scale of out of 10, I would say 7.5, 8 out of 10 to me is fair. Presentation is good. All of the different elements that make a video game that's put in seem to be well done. There are some elements that we could get used to, like the dodge mechanics and the shooting, but I think that's something that comes with time and practice. But other than these other minimal things, I think frame of mind and game feel are two things that have kind of pushed me away at this time. Keep in mind that I'm somebody who tries my best to give a game a second shot. Elden Ring was a game that I also refunded and then ended up being my favorite game that I've played in a long time, if not the best game I've played this year, #1. And on giving Elden Ring a second shot, it basically resonated and clicked with me. Callisto Protocol has not been able to do that, but maybe if I give it a second shot, I'll find myself in that position. Another thing that led me to this is Midnight Suns also released on the same day as it did. Midnight Suns is a superhero game. It has some of my favorite superhero characters, and it's a game that, based on the playtime compared to Callisto Protocol, I think there's a lot of gameplay here that I can engage with for the time being. Callisto Protocol has been reported to have a playtime of anywhere from 7 hours all the way to maybe 12 hours, 13, 14, 15, depending on what difficulty you're playing. And to me, I just felt that $60 may not necessarily warrant that quantity of experience at this time. It could be that I decide otherwise and say, you know what, maybe I just want to go ahead and I don't care. I just want to go ahead and play it for 10 hours and play it again on a harder difficulty or play New Game Plus. You're more than likely going to get more than 10 hours out of the game. I'm not, ignorant of that possibility, but they haven't added those modes yet. So I don't necessarily see the value proposition at this time. And so it brings me to a place where how should gamers address video games that they cannot necessarily resonate with at the time being? I think the very first thing they can do is basically make the decision to go ahead and refund the game. Now, if you're playing on the physical side, that's where the challenge is. Game feel is actually something that you must hold that controller and play, and the game feel for Callisto Protocol did not necessarily jive with me immediately. And if you think about that refund possibility, it's actually much more harrowing in a sense as, thinking that you probably play the game and then, you've passed the refund window, in the sense that in a physical copy, once you open up the, package, it's hard to refund the game. On the digital side, we have a lot more grace depending on the store, depending on the platform you're playing, that if you play under 2 hours, you can pretty much make up your mind and say, hey man, this is it for me. I don't think I actually want to engage in this game, as long as you do so within, I think, 14 days for a lot of these online stores. Another thing too that I think developers can do in order to alleviate a lot of the perception that their video games have is that depending on the kind of game they're making, they need to make, I would say, demos to be able to pretty much alleviate poor perception from people who come into their product very cold. You see, a game like Callisto Protocol, yes, it's a story game. It's a game depending on horror and surprise and all of these things. But I think a small slice of the game could have been made as a demo. Think about it. Resident Evil is a game that I can say is similar to Callisto Protocol. But if you go on the PC Steam page, you can see that Resident Evil actually does have demos available to the game. I mean, you think about it, you have to go ahead and say, why would they have the demos available? What is the big deal with the demo? Like, why has Capcom always prioritized having demos for their games? Well, it's simple. You give the player some kind of a taste of your game, and you pretty much are able to have the player guarantee if they actually want to play the game or if they never want to play the game. I was looking around their, Steam page at this time in terms of the Resident Evil games, and I couldn't necessarily find much, but I do remember downloading a Resident Evil 3 Raccoon City demo back in the day. I can't remember when the game came out. And I remember playing for about 24 minutes, if you see it here on my Steam library. And I was like, this game is not for me. I've never really been a Resident Evil player. And I think Capcom pretty much eliminates the possibility that they're going to have poor reviews by doing things like this. Look at their game. I know it's Resident Evil, I get it, but it's very positive in terms of its reviews because the game feel already brought a good number of players into the system that was filtered. So a player like me did not go ahead and have to play the whole game before realizing, oh no, I hate this game. They kind of filtered me out, and I think that this is definitely something that needs to be done for a lot of other video games. It's very simple. Why game developers don't do that these days is beyond me. And this is my only criticism for Callisto Protocol, which is crazy because I want these games to win. If you have good games on the market, we all win. If you don't have good games on the market, it seems like there's kind of a loss in terms of player, enjoyment and also developer perception because their project that they've worked on for many years hits the shelves and not everybody can resonate with them. And I did go in, don't get me wrong, knowing that there might be the possibility that I don't really vibe with this game. I only played it and tried it out because one of my audience members requested that I try it out. And I did. And as I suspected, it wasn't a game that I thought I would be playing in this time and season. And in judging with the other factors like Midnight Suns just sitting there in my library, there was just no way I could justify not playing another superhero game. Even if it's a turn-based superhero game, that's something out of my league. But the genre and the subgenre are still very close to games that are appealing to me. So these are my reasonings for the meantime. Performance or whatever it may be, those don't really stop me from playing games. I think I like to just go ahead and tinker. So I prefer to play on PC when I'm testing out a game. So if there are performance issues or whatever, I can tinker with it. I can try to see if, maybe some settings or something that will suit me. And for the most part, I haven't really had a bug or game breaking experience on any PC title I've played, except Elden Ring for a little bit before they patched it. But so far, this is pretty much what I think regarding my experience with Callisto Protocol at this time. Hopefully I get to visit the game very soon, or I'll probably maybe have to visit it later down the road. But as of now, it's something where I think the developers should take a lot of notes, learn from some of the criticisms and, a lot of the pointers that are being given in the game community right now, because the community that actually supports this game is largely positive. They actually do like this, genre of video games. And that's what I'm seeing. Even though the reviews may be negative, I'm starting to see that, the negative reviews come from a place of love. Not a lot of people are coming from a place of, oh, this sucks or whatever. No, they are looking to see this franchise do very well. But anyways, I'll get out of your hair. Thanks so much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys' time so much, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.